How can we help to build Jamaica and spur growth? One way is to support local businesses and buy Jamaican-made products. Later this month, several manufacturers will show what they have to offer, and you're invited to the exciting expo. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson, and you're watching Jamaica Magazine. We have more on Expo Jamaica 2018 in our show, plus 50 years of development by the UDC. Stay with us.
Jamaica, I can help you protect our citizens.
Jamaica Eye will play a part in increasing your public safety.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, April 5. Crime, national security, and public safety topped discussions between the government and the parliamentary opposition at the first meeting of the reconvened Vale Royal Talks yesterday. The discussions at the University of the West Indies Regional Office also centered on voter re-verification and parliamentary procedures and committees. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Opposition Leader Dr. Peter Phillips found common ground on several important issues of national development and pledged to continue discussions to reach unified conclusions on the way forward. It was specifically agreed that several draft policies and bills would be shared for future discussions. Both sides agreed that the Electoral Commission of Jamaica would provide a plan within a month on how to ensure the maintenance of clean voters' lists. There was also a decision to consider the inclusion of private sector, church, and civil society groups periodically to participate in the dialogue on crime, violence, and public order. Both leaders spoke of the importance of ensuring that the positive framework established through the Vale Royal Talks is preserved and encouraged. A new report has found that schools are performing more effectively in key areas of assessment. The report was done by the National Education Inspectorate, NEI, and reveals the findings of inspections done in 189 primary and secondary schools last year. It shows improvements across all 8 indicators, including leadership and management, teaching, students' progress and performance, and curriculum and enhancement programs. Improvements were also seen in students' personal and social development, use of human and material resources, and student safety, security, health, and well-being. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid says the ministry is very encouraged by the improvements.
We will continue to take on the recommendations made by the NEI. They are our worthy partner. We want to thank the divisions, or boards, or principals who will work to correct breaches and implement recommendations.
Senator Reid says more work will be done with the institutions that are in need of immediate support to ensure that their standings can be improved. The NEI is the National Education Quality Assurance Agency and operates independently of the Ministry of Education. Meanwhile, the Education Ministry is working to provide greater access to education and training for youth in the Zones of Special Operations, ZOSOs, and other inner-city communities. The Portfolio Minister made the announcement while touring the ZOSO community of Denham Town yesterday. He revealed that training would be provided through the Trenchtown Polytechnic College, Heart Trust NTA, and the Caribbean Maritime University.
We're going to take some training to them, and those we can take and place elsewhere we'll take, right? So this, I think, is the beginning of a whole transformation of our inner city communities, and we want to replicate this right across the country.
One of the youth already tapped to benefit from this initiative is Travis Morrison, a 23-year-old Denham Town resident and former head boy of the Vauxhall High School.
We've been here for a while. We haven't seen or heard from the ministry. We do appreciate them being here today, showing their face, being among the people. We do appreciate the intervention with the training programs that they have just stated that will be here. And we definitely, in the long run, is looking out to see exactly what is in store.
The minister says he has a schedule to tour all the ZOSO communities and those within the state of emergency. The Housing Agency of Jamaica is going door to door in 16 communities, offering residents payment plans to clear up any monetary obstacles to receiving their titles. HAJ's Senior Manager for Community Development, Nakia McMorris, says it's part of a broader push to release the over 8,000 titles in the agency's vault.
And so we're being strategic in this approach now to go into communities, build better relationships with the households so that we can assist them to deliver their titles. Some persons have already started to pay. There are some that haven't started to pay at all, and so we want to work with them during that process. We are starting off, we're giving them up to 6 months to pay. Of course, there's flexibility to that sometimes.
Ms. McMorris and a team from the Housing Agency were in the Norwood community recently. Over the next 2 months, the initiative is also targeting residents of Pit 4 Phase 3, Meadows Vale, Retirement, and Lilliput in Montego Bay. White House and Whitehall in Negril, as well as Boscobel, Brownfield section in St. Anne, are also targeted.
The truth is that if you're living on the land, it's not yours. So let's say 20 years from now, a year from now, someone could come in, purchase it from the agency or purchase it from the government of Jamaica, and there is no reason why we couldn't take you off the lot. That is not what the agency wants to happen. We want to make sure that persons are regularized. So we want to make sure that you have your title, especially considering that they're sitting at HAJ waiting for your names to be transferred.
Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw is calling for an extensive audit of the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA's programs and extension services. The newly appointed minister says he wants the programs and services renewed and revived, with extension officers aiding more small farmers.
Every extension officer that is hearing the voice of the new minister, I want you in the field working with our small farmers across this country.
The minister was speaking at the launch of Farmers Month on Wednesday at the Jamaica Agricultural Society. The month is being celebrated under the theme, Grow What We Eat, Eat What We Grow. And finally, the Electoral Office of Jamaica is finalizing plans for the 2 local government by-elections scheduled for later this month. Residents of the Maypen North Division in Clarendon and Yallas in St. Thomas will go to the polls on Friday, April 27, to elect their new parish council representatives. Nomination day is next Tuesday, April 10. The by-election in the Maypen North Division became necessary following the death of Jamaica Labour Party representative Melvin Jones. Meanwhile, in the Yallas Division, the seat became vacant following a ruling in the Supreme Court that Dean Jones, the JLP councillor for the division, was not eligible to sit in the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation. On April 27, polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are 8,287 registered voters in the Maypen North Central Clarendon Division, while 9,145 residents are registered to vote in the Yallas Division. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
It happens every 2 years. A trade expo of some of Jamaica's finest products and services, all in one location. 350 manufacturers, attracting over 500 local and international buyers and 20,000 patrons in 3 days. It's Expo Jamaica 2018. Let's get the details from the organizers.
Expo Jamaica 2018 is the place to be, whether you are a manufacturer, service provider, or if you're in the tourism sector as an exhibitor. Why? Because we have over 20,000 people that actually come through this show, and that is locally, in addition to the over 500 buyers that we have. You're going to see all things Jamaican from all the different industries that we have in Jamaica. We have over 350 booth spaces between the National Indoor Sports Center and the National Arena.
It is the largest of its kind in the Caribbean, We have it every other year. We had a successful staging in 2016, and we intend to have an equally successful one in 2018. It brings together manufacturers, industries that support the manufacturing sector, service industries, and it brings together those manufacturers and buyers from Jamaica and across the world. Those countries include South Africa, Japan, as I said, North America, South America, Europe, the UK, Canada, India, Nigeria, Belize, and the Caribbean.
We're happy to report that we have 506 buyers registered, and last year we had an attendance of 431. So we are on track to exceeding the number of buyers overseas that came to the show. So they're coming from 23 countries, 15 of which are from the Caribbean. Cuba will be bringing a delegation of 11 companies. From Trinidad and Tobago, we have 11 buyers that will be coming in. And of course, there's a delegation from the Dominican Republic, from the USA, which is our next largest buyers. Some 30 that will be coming from the USA. The Jamaica is also very well represented because many of the buyers are from the hotel sectors. And then there are a number of buyers from the distributive trade, from the pharmaceutical sector. And there is a major buyer that we have and we're proud of, because this fits right in with our target of boosting the cosmetics sector. PAC Cosmetics, from the UK, will be attending the show, and they already do business in Jamaica, and we expect that will also increase with their attendance.
The overarching objective of Expo Jamaica is actually to expand local and export sales. So when these companies interface with over 20,000 consumers and 500 buyers, it's about brand exposure, it's about making deals on the show floor, and it's about convincing the local people that this is why I must buy Jamaican over any foreign product. So it is about buying Jamaican to build Jamaica.
There will also be a park and ride facility. So to alleviate the congestion at the arena, we will have parking services at King's House, and JOTC will be providing bus services from King's House, to and from King's House to the arena. And we also have a farmers market, which will showcase quality, fresh produce.
So this is the show to be for everyone in Jamaica, April 19th to 22nd. But just to say that it opens to the public on the Friday to the Sunday. So we open Friday at 5 o'clock to the general public. The cost for entry is actually $800 for general entrance, $200 for children, and for those under 2, you actually come into the show free.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, Pathway to Prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
The Urban Development Corporation is celebrating 50 years of making development happen in Jamaica. Our next feature reflects on past achievements, projects being done now, and future developments.
development planning, project implementation, attractions operation, real estate management, fulfilling the mandate to make development happen for 50 years. This is the role of the Urban Development Corporation UDC, an organization established in 1968 to make development happen when and where it is most needed in the country. And so it started March 21, 1968. Through a special act of Parliament, the UDC sought to ensure that planned and orderly development took place when and where it was needed in Jamaica, within the framework of national priorities. Over the years, the UDC has carried out this responsibility at different levels. Initially, it was by ensuring that adequate primary infrastructure was in place. That responsibility was later extended to the provision of secondary infrastructure. The UDC was empowered by law to operate within areas designated by the Minister of Government under whose portfolio it falls. However, from time to time, the corporation is also required to undertake special projects outside of its designated areas. The UDC is currently focused on 6 main areas. These include downtown Kingston and Port Royal, Caymanas Estate, Hellshire, Ocho Rios, Falmouth and Montego Bay. In 1968, the Kingston waterfront became the UDC's first designated area. The corporation has been an active player in the development of downtown Kingston ever since. Downtown Kingston continues to be developed, and currently this process is being guided by the phased implementation of the Downtown Kingston and Port Royal Redevelopment Plan 2030. This plan will facilitate the development of both areas and will be aligned to the Vision 2030 Jamaica National Development Plan. UDC's relationship with its second development area of Ocho Rios began in 1969, when the corporation acquired all bayfront property in the area and reclaimed 40 acres of land to create a first-class beach. Over the years, the UDC has successfully transformed Ocho Rios from a sleepy fishing village to a vibrant resort town. The UDC and partners are still committed to the ongoing transformation of this major resort town. Currently, the Ocho Rios Improvement Project is ongoing, being guided by the Greater Ocho Rios Redevelopment Plan. Specific components of the ongoing works include the Marina, Promenade and Main Street. Over in Caymanas, the UDC is implementing the Caymanas Estate Development Plan CEDP, which is aimed at creating a wealth of investment opportunities, including the development of recreational facilities, housing solutions and an industrial estate. Hundreds of homes have already been created by investors, and major primary infrastructure in the form of the Caymanas sewage conveyancing pipeline put in place by the UDC. A Caymanas Special Economic Zone was created in 2014, and an enterprise team has been established to oversee this zone and conduct a review of the plans developed for the area by the UDC and the future implementation. Falmouth in Trelawney has been a UDC area of focus. As part of the development process, the corporation has collaborated with several stakeholders to coordinate, develop and implement an integrated master plan for the Greater Falmouth area. This Greater Falmouth Redevelopment Plan 2010 to 2030 facilitates the planned and orderly economic, social, cultural and environmental development of the area. Today, the corporation is spearheading a development plan for the designated area to reflect the present needs of the city through the coordination of regular meetings with stakeholders. The redevelopment plans provide for the rehabilitation of the groins, which mitigates against flooding, and the transformation of Closed Harbour Beach, otherwise known as Dump Up Beach, into a major recreational park. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you since 1968. Visit udcja.com and sign up for alerts on their 50th anniversary activities. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 656-8031 or visit their website at udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Nobody want to plant the corn. Everybody want to read the band. Who you are go blame it on when it's a next man you are deep in pan? Well, you're wrong.
Farmers, let us be serious about predial larceny. It is affecting all of us. If you are aware of incidents of predial larceny, make contact with your local police station or call Crime Stop at 311. Predial larceny is everybody's business.
April is Farmers' Month. Time to unpack what these growers mean to our diets and our pockets. Let's see how the ones planting our agro parks are helping to set the standards.
Farmers contributing to government strategic priorities, supporting job creation, economic growth, and putting fiscal prudence into action. Committed to growing the agricultural sector, the Ministry of Agriculture is putting some 8,000 acres of prime land under production. These have been divided across the island to form 9 agro-parks in St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Trelawney and Westmoreland. The aim is to get farmers or investors producing in high volumes using best practices, growing to supply both the local and export markets. 6 of these agro-parks are currently under operation, engaging more than 200 farmers who earned for themselves over $36 million in 2013. They represent just a fraction of the farmers of the agro-parks who will be leading the government's target of achieving revenues of $1 billion and producing enough to cut our high food import bill. We caught up with a few of the farmers at Amity Hall in St. Catherine to discuss their participation in the venture.
The variety of crops that I've been planting ranges from sweet potatoes, tomatoes, cucumbers, and of course I'm now doing papaya, and I plant a little plantain.
And I plant peppers here. I established about 3 acres. This pepper was planted out in September of last year, and started reaping in December. And I expect to get at least 20,000 pounds per acre. It's 3 acres. And so far I've been reaping on a weekly basis in excess of 1,000 pounds.
I have 10 acres, which I have basically 7 acres on a production right now. I have almost 4 acres in potatoes. I have 1 acre in Scotch bonnet peppers, and I have some other small amounts like okras, pap chows, tomato, sweet pepper. In terms of the potato, basically stagger, say 1 acre at each time, which so far has been look like a healing about 12,000 pounds per acre on an average so far. That I think is a good yield.
Through funding from the Inter-American Development Bank, the necessary infrastructure such as roads, irrigation, drainage and other basic amenities were put in place to support production.
Well, one of the greatest benefits is for us to have a 5-acre piece of land with water right there, and adequate road. If it rains, we can still visit our land. It is relatively flat land. We have equipment at our avail, and that is a key element in the mix.
The farmers also received the technical support from Agro Investment Corporation, AIC, in areas such as the timing of crop planting and available markets. AIC is the agent of the government with managerial responsibility for the agro parks.
They also provide us general information about what is happening on the international arena. And that helps to kind of position us to be selective in the type of crops that we should embark on.
These men have a general love for farming and want to see the agro park succeed.
I'm really a part-time farmer. I love farming, always involved in farming. It's the last 2-3 years that I've got the opportunity to be farming on a more extensive basis. And so far I put in a lot. And I think basically just start to reap the benefits.
And I have a love for agriculture. I was trained in agriculture and I need to make some money. So you have to do work on a timely basis. And I believe that the other farmers in the Agro Park, if they make the effort and put their best foot forward, then it should be a success.
We can produce, if we have reasonable amount of these sort of parks across Jamaica, we can produce more than enough food for the country and to export as well.
The fact that the land is made available at, I would say, peppercorn rent, let's face it, let's be honest, that also is one benefit. And I believe that if we use the land and use it adequately, we can keep it for life. What we are doing here is just a demonstration. So I am anticipating that this stage of the Agro Park is the introductory phase to prepare us to take on the mega projects that are down the road.
I see myself as an important part in it and hope to do much better than I'm doing right now.
These are the farmers who are changing the face of agriculture. Their level of dedication and cooperation will lead to more jobs being created and Jamaica achieving a level of food security and eventually achieving sustained economic growth.
Finger-licking jerk chicken, Helsha fish and bami, will run down yam and banana, roast breadfruit, sweet potato pudding. Jamaica food sweet. So let's make a pledge to use more local produce and less foreign goods. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
We've come to the end of our show, but certainly not the end of our connection. Just click on our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send us your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. Do join us again tomorrow for another informative program. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.